The Green Party of Canada is led by noted environmentalist and crazy tree lady, Elizabeth May. There she is in a gas-guzzling Dodge Viper telling you that you're a bad person if you own a car like a Dodge Viper. Oh, nothing says I care about the environment like a Green Party hypocrite. Okay. What is her superpower? Now, Elizabeth May's superpower is currently, it's called a narrative compliant shield. And her shield is a green shield, and it fits the narrative, right? The media wants to say that everything green is good, and they don't want to ever criticize any of their bad rhetoric. So all the logical flaws, all the structural flaws, all the economic flaws, all the radical leftism that Elizabeth May espouses, she's allowed to espouse it freely because she has a green shield. Because if you criticize her, right, then you say it's legitimate to criticize environmentalists when they're wrong, and that is a big no-no. So that is her superpower. Who is her campaign manager? Her campaign manager is Jagmeet Singh. Jagmeet Singh is doing his hardest to grow the Green Party by being the worst candidate the NDP's ever had. Now, I actually hope Jagmeet Singh gets a seat because I am a big fan of Jagmeet Singh. Didn't I just go off on him for being a terrorist sympathizer? Yes. But no one has destroyed the NDP better than Jagmeet Singh. Because the NDP is sort of based off blue-collar, working-class Canadian union workers. And some of those workers have the audacity to be cisgender white men. I know. And his social justice rhetoric, trying to out social justice rhetoric, Justin Trudeau, telling white men Canada's an evil place and white people are evil, actually isn't the best winning strategy with white men, believe it or not. So he's been at war with the base of the NDP since he got in, and I find that hilarious. Okay. So what are his policies? Platform for the Green Party. End the fossil fuel industry. Get off all fossil fuels. You want to heat your home with natural gas, oil? Nope. You're going to have to build a fire. Build a fire. Well, she goes and drives around in a Dodge Viper. Remember, no fossil fuels except at Dodge Vipers, apparently. No pipelines. No 21st century technology. This is why I don't take the Green Party seriously. No nuclear power. Right? Clean? Right? Thorium reactors. Can we talk about the new nuclear energy? No. Nope. Have to be blown by, unicorn farts or else it's bad. Basically, she wants to cede control of Canada to the UN on all issues, except turn every native tribe into sort of this super legislature where they all have unlimited power in Canada because they're environmental warriors. It makes no sense. It is a recipe for disaster to, one, increase corruption and financial instability within the native reserves while maximizing resentment from people outside the reserves towards them. But it's the left, so hey, whatever. All right, now let us get into, this is what Elizabeth May thinks about foreign policy. So that's environment, she's environmental, but she's trying to say she's a whole party. Let's see what Elizabeth May's foreign policy is.
Your platform also talks about replacing fighter jets with water bombers. Does that mean that you don't think Canada should be a part of NATO?
I think in terms of our engagement with NATO, we need to re-examine it. Greens are of the view that our involvement in NATO makes sense as long as we can ensure that NATO is part of a movement towards nuclear disarmament. It's urgent that Canada change our position around the treaty to abolish nuclear arms and nuclear weapons. We haven't signed it yet. We should. And we should use whatever position we have in NATO for some benefit that makes the world a more secure place.
How would we have that position if we had no fighter jets, though?
Well, I didn't say no fighter jets. The F-35s are a completely inappropriate plane for our needs. We need to look at what kind of fighter jets. Where is there an imminent threat that requires us to have a fighter bomber that can evade an enemy country's radar to get to them before they see us and bomb them first? This doesn't sound like any scenario that's plausible for our real interests of defense and security.
Does that mean you would reevaluate Operation Reassurance, participation in Operation Impact?
I think the over-militarized approach that this is all defense is about is participating in NATO missions. We should not participate in any missions around the world that are not sanctioned by the United Nations. NATO missions can still be illegal unless it's...
So you would re-examine Operation Impact, Operation Reassurance?
Yes.
And it wouldn't mean all fighter jets are being replaced. I just want to be clear on what you're...
You could be absolutely clear on that, yes.
Okay.
As you can see, Elizabeth May is currently in the year 1941, December 6, and meeting a bunch of Japanese generals who don't understand the concept of air power yet. Now, so she's foreign policy. We should always listen to the UN. which means we should give Russia and China veto power over our entire military. Brilliant strategy. Brilliant strategy there. And somehow she's never going to be called a Russian pawn. But let's just think of how stupid it is. Replace, right, she doesn't want to be part of NATO, no missile defense, no Air Force. What do we need an Air Force for in today's modern military? Excuse me? Modern military, since World War II, since the invention of aircraft, ground troops are basically means of holding ground for air power, right? This is how the Israelis had worse technology but managed to win the 6 Days War against 13 different armies. Air superiority. This is how Pearl Harbor failed. The bombing of Pearl Harbor took out all the ships, but it didn't take out the aircraft carriers. Because America still had aircraft carriers, they learned quickly over the next coming months, oh, naval warfare is actually an extension of aerial warfare. That's why it's a game of protecting the landing strips or the battle carriers for aircrafts. So what do we need aircraft for in today's modern military? Are you kidding? Today's modern military is all about air power. So just general ignorance. And again, cede control of Canadian military to Russia and China. It's just nonsense. She took time out of the debate to just go off on Israel for no good reason. She just said, oh, Andrew Scheer wants to move the embassy to Jerusalem, just like Trump. But yeah, Jerusalem, the city of David. She basically called that occupied, said it's like Russia occupying Crimea. Then she wanted to fund UNRWA. UNRWA has tunnels leading underground into Israel, has been shown to host weapon stocks, train kids about jihad, all that different type of stuff. Of course, you know, everything's an occupation, you know, bash Israel up and down, you know, general lefty nonsense. Okay. So that brings us to the end of their policies. What are their policies on a scale of 1 to 10? It is a resounding 0. Actually, no, because it would completely destroy the entire economy and the entire planet. It is a negative 10. Negative 10 out of 10 for Elizabeth May and the Green Party, which means their slogan is Green Party, trees good, Jews bad. What is the pathway towards victory here? The NDP slipping up, gaining a few more things. They can get power by being in a liberal left-wing coalition government of nonsense and nightmares. So chance is actually pretty good at gaining some ground. This is the most important. Election really in the entire Green Party history. This is their #1 chance. So that should scare the hell out of everyone.